Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be giving a quick tutorial on the commands with focus on the variables and the line modifiers. So what I'd like to take you through today is just to get familiar with certain commands that may help you, especially when you're looking to use these types of modifiers or when you're looking to create variables of some sort. So let's go through it from the top. This is the topic of our article, the chicken that crossed the road. Okay, not the best article topic, but it will help in understanding how these commands play out. All right, so the first command that I actually want to show you is the insert command. What this is going to do is literally just write the topic. This is a system-defined variable. So if you use insert and then your square brackets, hashtag topic, it's going to pull this and write it in the editor at the bottom here. So let me show you exactly. There we go, the chicken that crossed the road. So it literally just wrote it out. There might be in some cases where you just want to check what a variable actually is, and you can use the log command. So log will pretty much just log it out. If you're a developer, it's like a console log. So /log, and then you put the topic in there as well. You run that, and it says the topic variable is the chicken that crossed the road. Okay. The next one is let's have a look at the ability to define our own variable. So in some instances, you may want to define a variable as you go along, which you can then reuse at a later stage. So the define command is used for that. And what you'd do is you'd say /define in square brackets what you want to define the variable as. So in this instance, we're defining this variable, hard question, as this text over here. So we're defining what came first, the chicken or the egg, as a hard question variable. Okay, so let's do that. There we go. It says the variable is created. So again, we can do this. Now we can use this variable in any of our other commands at any point that we like. So /answer hard question would actually get the AI to attempt to answer this. So let's run that. There we go. The chicken supposedly came first before the egg. Okay, and obviously, you can redo that if you just press Control-Z. Another answer. Let's go for that again. It doesn't actually have to be a first. Relative equivalence of chickens and eggs for millions of years. Right, so you get the gist of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to now use variables when you use commands. You don't have to use variables. Okay, the variables are just there for ease of use so that you can reuse that variable later on if you want to. So you can still run the answer command without a variable or without a modifier in normal brackets afterwards. You don't have to use the modifiers and the variables. You can just say, answer, what is the meaning of life? And the AI will attempt to answer that. That one failed. Let's do it again. Every now and again, the AI has a little bit of a hiccup. You just need to give it some time to think about life. And there we go. Contradictions and purpose of life. So you can see it does the job without a variable. Now, let's get into some complicated stuff. Okay, let's just delete this. This over here is an attempt to get the AI to create questions around the topic. You can see that. Create questions around the topic. And then we add in these modifiers over here. So what this is saying basically is that I want to use the line modifier. So for each line that the output comes back as, because if you remember the questions, you're going to get back quite a few questions from the AI. So we want to action each question that comes back. So for each line or each question that comes back, we say line : create it as the line variable. Create a break, which means you're pressing the enter key. It's simulating you pressing the enter key, and then write this out. So it's going to write out for each line item, it's going to write out /answer line break break. So let's have a look at what this is going to look like. I'm just going to copy this so you can see afterwards and re-explain it. Do you think chickens can cross streets? Okay. So let's explain what happened here. So it found questions about the topic, okay? And then for each line, you can see this is the line. For each line, right, it prints out the line, which is the actual question, and then it writes this for you. Answer, in brackets, the question, and then break. You can see it's enter, and then the next one. Enter, and the next one, and so on and so on. This is what the modifiers help you do. It's really, really easy. Okay, once you understand it, it's not really easy. It's just really powerful. So once you actually understand it, you can do some really complicated and fun things with this, specifically with the discover command. But this is just so you can understand this part. And then what you can do is, normally, once you've got all your questions, you can then just start hitting Command Enter or Control Enter, and it will start answering these questions. Obviously, there's no context in this at all. So it's asking the AI, what do you think? So it's going to come back with not good stuff. So what you could do actually is, let's get back at this, right? Answer. If you want more context, do something like this. And I'll show you exactly what happens now. Let's just run it like this. Okay. Now, what it's going to do over here is, this is the question, why did the chicken cross the road? But when it attempts to answer it, it's going to put the topic, which is this, into the question. So you're giving the AI more context. So for example, if you landed up with why is it important, and you just ran an answer command on this, it's not giving the AI context as to what you're talking about. And what you're talking about is the chicken that crossed the road. So if you just run the answer command just on this, the AI is going to think you're talking in general sense of why is it important, instead of why is it important that the chicken crossed the road, right? So that's why we put the topic in there as well. That's exactly why we do this then. Like I showed you, put the topic, okay, and then the question. Because now, if you run this one, let's just run all of these over here. It's running that again. Should have taken that out. Let's just delete this. Let's do this now. Let's actually get rid of these and let's run this one. So it's going to take the topic into account, and why is it important? We simulated that was the question. Okay, so there we go. So you've got an answer, and it kept the context of the chicken that crossed the road. All right, and it does the same thing here. So that's pretty much the commands. That's pretty much how you define variables, how you use variables, and how you'd use those modifiers to reuse variables later on and to actually output each line item that the AI comes back with. If you have any questions at all about this process, these commands, you could definitely just get hold of us using the chat button at the bottom. Thank you.